What's up YouTube? Wisco Boater Chad here. This is vlog number 2, Wisco Boater's Daydreams, and I'm going to talk a little bit about air conditioning and generators today, just to kind of keep myself awake on this drive as I make my way up Sturgeon Bay for a work day on the boat, do some polishing, pull the props. I'm going around Green Bay right now, so just about 45 minutes away. I want to just get some thoughts out there on air conditioning and generators, and maybe if there's anybody in this part of the country that boats, the boating season runs 4 to 5, maybe 6 months at the most, to see what might be worth it. If you have any thoughts, send me some comments. It's 14 degrees outside right now as I go around Green Bay, so it's a little bit weird talking about air conditioning when it's that cold outside, but boating season will be upon us very soon. I'm going to launch the boat April 24th this year, which is 3 weeks earlier than I launched it last year. Air conditioning is not going to be required for a couple of months after I launch it. However, last summer I stayed on the boat over 50 nights, probably closer to 60 nights, and there's just a handful of nights that air conditioning would have been nice. I'm gonna say 5, 6, 7 nights out of those 50 to 60 nights where air conditioning would have been an absolute difference maker as far as comfort level on the boat goes. So I started looking at full installation, like permanently mounted ductwork, vents, all that stuff. Air conditioner units from Marine AC, I believe is the name of the company. If I didn't get that right, I'll correct it on the video here, and I'll put a link below. I was quoted $1,500 to $1,800 depending on the BTU output and whether or not it had reverse cycle heat. And then there's an install kit for like $500 and some hardware that's like $250, and you probably would end up around $3,000, $3,500 to buy the air conditioner and everything that's required to install it. We do want to anchor out some this year overnight, and in order to do that and run an air conditioner, you also have to have a generator. Now, my boat doesn't, obviously if I'm talking about air conditioning, doesn't have air conditioning. It also does not have a generator. I think at one point it probably did, because the generator tray is there. It looks like there are strap marks and mounting marks where a previous owner of this boat, I know for sure I'm only the third owner of this boat, but the first owner had it a long time, about 8 or 9 years. Second owner had it for 2 seasons, and now I've had it for 3. So one of the previous owners, I do believe, pulled the generator out of the boat. Whether, for what reason, I have no idea. Used Kohler generators on eBay, Craigslist. I see them for around $2,000. Brand new ones are over $5,000, probably closer to $6,000. And it's just out of my budget. I'm just not going to put that much money into an onboard generator and air conditioning system for 5 to 10 nights per season of use. Now the generator obviously would run other things when you're anchored out, not necessarily just the air conditioning, but it's still it's just too expensive. It's too big of an investment to put into this boat for what it's worth. So that leaves a couple of other options, and I've looked into these little swamp cooler things from anywhere from the $50 version at Walmart to Total Cool, who sells one for like $450, which at first I was like, oh, this is a great option. It's inexpensive. They run on 12 or 24 volt DC, and you could use a portable generator. I'm looking at maybe getting a little portable Honda generator to put on the boat, and I was like, well, less than a couple grand, have a portable air conditioner and generator set up. Looking at used Honda generators, by the way, you can find used ones out there for $1,000, $1,500 plus somewhere between $200 and $500 for a little portable air conditioner swamp cooler thing. not a bad deal. But then I go do a little bit of research on these swamp cooler type of air conditioners and find out they are not air conditioners. They have no condenser and no compressor. Therefore, all they're doing is using water, a water-soaked filter, to blow air through. Really, all you're doing with one of these swamp cooler things is sucking in warm air, making it even more humid than it already is, then blowing it back out as cooler air, but it's going to be more humid, which probably is going to make it feel even warmer than it already is. So, and that's obviously terrible for a boat. I mean, you're going to just blow a bunch of humidified air into the cabin of the boat, and you're going to end up corroding a bunch of stuff, and it's just not a good idea. So that idea is out the window. So the only other option that I can think of, and it kind of bugs me because I already had one of these, is to get one of those little single room air conditioners that people put like their upstairs rooms that don't get cooled by the central air, or the central air just can't keep up, whatever. They cool 250 to 350 square feet on average. These are portable air conditioners on wheels that a lot of them recirculate the condensate. There isn't really any drippage from condensate that you need to worry about. And there's a little vent tubing that comes off the back that you have to exhaust out a window. These things are pretty inexpensive, and oddly enough, less expensive than the Total Cool swamp cooler, which, as mentioned, is $450. And you can find these little portable air conditioners like this one that I have been looking at on Amazon. It's Honeywell branded. It's not built by Honeywell, but it's Honeywell branded. $329. Now, as I just mentioned, that it kind of bugs me because I had one of these last summer. I had a DeLonghi that was an 11,000 BTU portable air conditioner. It would have cooled the cabin in no time. 11,000 BTUs. I really only need 5,000 to 6,000 BTUs. My cabin is, I figured, is probably in the neighborhood of 120 square feet. So I had this DeLonghi last year, and I was like, it's big, and I'd have to run ductwork from the middle of the cabin over to a window, which is going to be in the way. And I was like, it's too big. I'm not going to worry about it. So I sold it. Now thinking about it this week, I'm like, I should have kept that thing, because why not just put the air conditioner in the head, in the bathroom on the boat? If we're only going to use it on really hot days, we can leave the bathroom door open, cool the cabin, or at night when you're sleeping, leave the bathroom door open and run it, because even if you get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, you got to open the door anyway. And if there is any condensate, there's a drain in the head, because there's also a shower in there. So, and the ducting wouldn't be in the way of moving around the cabin at all. You'd run it from the unit right to the window that's in the head. Does this not sound like the solution? $329 for a air conditioner that runs on, now it's 120 volts, so a shore power required, or a generator. So on the dock, no big deal. Got 30 amp service, and that's more than enough to run everything on the boat, plus an air conditioner. It's going to run, air conditioner's probably going to pull 6.5 amps. So if I do that, and then look at buying a used Honda generator for $1,500, I'm in air conditioning less than $2,000, and everything's portable and removable when I don't need it. There are other options of air conditioning. What do we call it? We'll just call them, well, I'm just going to be blunt about it. They're absolute redneck installations of window unit air conditioners that use the companionway all cut up, or some version of a companionway modified board that sits there to hold the air conditioner. I've seen people take air conditioning units installed in the front hatch of the cabin. Again, everything is just in the way. There's ductwork everywhere. You've got cords. You wouldn't be able to use the V-berth at all if you had an air conditioner hanging down out of the hatch. Those are just, I mean, I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos on people doing these installations, and they look horrible, and they take up too much space. So something like this Honeywell air conditioner, whatever, you know, whichever one I end up looking at buying, will fit perfectly in the head. We don't have any odor issues in the head either, so I'm not worried about leaving the door open. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at doing. So if anybody has any comments or suggestions, or you've done this, done some version of it, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching Wisco Boater Daydreams. We'll see you next time. Happy boating.